Okay, and it looks like they are off. So the first thing you notice that they're going to do, they're going to go into the town, buy a hammer, and then they are going to modify their settings. They're going to change the cursor to memory, and that will allow them to do what's called the equipment glitch. And the way the equipment glitch works is they're taking the weapon ID and applying it to an armor slot. So right here, we are seeing them actually apply knight's armors to the helmets and one to the clothes slot of the warrior, and then they're putting clothes back on the warrior. And they're selling that, or at least on Kib's screen, she's selling that to grab items, potions, antidotes, and Phoenix Downs. So this will set us up for items for pretty much the first part of the run. From here, we will see the equipment glitch another time, and that will be in the next area that they go to. But we will be doing that before Garland, and that'll be set up. And I do believe that is Kib's side that is with the audio delay. So one thing to notice here on the world map, forest tiles have a higher encounter rate, marsh tiles have a lower encounter rate, and grass has a regular encounter rate. So most times you will see them try to avoid forests and try to stay on marsh tiles. But here we will be seeing Shin grab the leather cap, which equipment glitch, they will be transferring the helmet ID, which all of the armor slots have the same ID except for the weapons, which has its own set of IDs. And they will be changing the leather cap into judgment staff. So they will be doing this on all of their characters. It's not a physically strong weapon, but it's strong enough that it'll allow us to take Garland down on first turn. So they will be using it. After that, the judgment staff has a secondary property, which it actually does say, but you can't see it because of how fast they're going. It has a secondary property that when you use it as an item, it casts flare. So we will be using that quite a bit in this run. Hopefully less than normal, but it is still a very powerful weapon, but it does take 8 seconds for the flare animation. So here we see that Shin has defeated Garland, and Kib has just knocked Garland down. Judgment staffs do anywhere between like 50 to 100 damage on Garland. And it's not that bad. Garland, I do believe, only has like 240 HP or so. But as Leo has said in chat, Shin did not do his shopping in Cornelia. I would assume that he's doing it in Provoca, which would be the last place to grab Phoenix Downs for right now. Let's see here. Garland has 212 HP. So, one thing also to notice, all bits of equipment in this run, we pick up certain bits, and sometimes we want them to drop certain bits. Garland has the ability to drop a weapon, a longsword, which throws off routings a little bit. But we didn't see that on either side, I do believe, and that will be safe for them. The cutscene that Kib is in is unskippable, and the one that Shin has just started is skippable, or not skippable for the first part, which is the fade in, but after that you can skip it. Fairly quick cutscenes. But here we will be seeing them head over to Provoca, and Leo has graciously in chat said that Provoca will grab antidotes, Phoenix Downs, ethers, and potions, and possibly the Leather Shield if he goes item route. Leather Shield also has a specific ID value that we use, and it creates what's called the Mage's Staff, which we will be seeing on Kib's side. I know that much at least. But otherwise, this is generally a standard. There will be no real route divergence other than shopping. For right now, Melmond is typically where routes sort of diverge based on items and equipment. After that, there's like one other place that they'll diverge, and we can talk about it then. But Shin getting some very unfortunate wolves. And while we're in battle, for those new to this run, battles are kind of weird. We don't want ambushes, because if we get an ambush, all of the enemies get a chance to attack first before the party member does. And with Knight's Armor, it lowers our agility a little bit. We don't want it. But here we see them both in the pirate fight at the same time. They will be using Judgment Staves, and that'll just wipe everything out in one turn. Really nice to have. But we're hoping for Leather Shield drop, and doesn't look like Kib gets it. And Shin also got it. So that'll be one less menu for Shin, and a shop for Kib. So here she'll buy the Leather Shield, and it looks like Shin will be grabbing items as well. I already said that, Leo. Thanks. The run on average is between an hour 30 to an hour 50. Leo says an hour 40, but some of the people do have longer times. This game does troll. So here we'll be seeing them take the boat. They will be going down to Elfheim, and they don't want any encounters. Boat encounters are kind of bad, especially with Knight's Armor. Everything typically has higher agility and makes it a bit harder to run from. And ooh, Shin missing the port there. So that'll be a little bit of a time loss. They may shop at Elfheim here. Shin unfortunately getting an ambush. The reason that we shop at Elfheim, typically in tournament settings, is because we want gold needles. This game does troll, as I said before, and there are enemies that will petrify, and other than gold needles, we don't grab anything that will solve petrification. So Kib is grabbing gold needles. Shin is skipping it for now. There's still two other chances for him to grab them, and they will be heading onto the Marsh Cave. So the way this game's set up, if you play it casually, you go into the town of Cornelia. You can't leave until you talk to a guard, and it takes you to the king, and the king tells you, hey, Princess Sarah has been kidnapped. Garland has taken her. So you go fight Garland. He rebuilds the bridge, or has his people rebuild the bridge, and then you go on. And most players, they go north because why not? You see it, and then you go to Matoya's cave, and she tells you, oh, hey, I'm missing an eye. Then you realize that you're locked on land, and you can't go anywhere other than Provoca, and then you get the ship, so on and so forth. And then you go over to this area, Elfheim Kingdom. The prince is asleep. There's a castle north of Marsh Cave where there's this old guy, old elf king, who is missing his crown, and it's a lot of plot that we don't deal with. So right here, they are going into the Marsh Cave. Shin is already in the Marsh Cave, and they're going to grab the crown. We need it for part of a fetch quest, and we will be seeing if Shin heals up before this fight. We've had some runners not do so, and he has opted not to do so. Ooh, and losing the white mage. That is unfortunate. The reason that they don't have dead party members is because they don't really need to split experience right now. I know some other versions you have to split experience, and being dead is slow. Ooh, and I just lost my feed. Hold on. So give me just a second here. Okay, need to refresh the stream. Got it. So reason that being dead is slow is we do need certain people have certain levels, and the ones that we don't want to die are the white mage and the black mage. So realistically, anything else that dies, we don't really want people to die. It's a menu. PSP is nothing like the NES card. Reason being is we have equipment glitch. But other than that, we will see them be going out of the marsh cave, and they will be heading up towards Western Keep, which has the old Elf King, or as we know him as Astos. So Astos has one ability that we kind of hope we don't see. We kind of do. But it is Death, or Rub in the NES version. And we kind of hope it attacks the warrior on that, simply because we want the mages and the thief to get extra experience points. And experience, it splits the experience that you get between all living party members. So we see Shin here in Western Keep. Kib is making her way to it. And we may actually see them both enter Astos at the same time. No, they've not beaten Lich. But Shin getting a good pattern there, physical attack. But the trick to beating Astos is just 2 attacks and 2 Judgment Staff uses. Kib actually getting death on the warrior, and she may have to take an extra turn, may not. But we see Shin having completed Astos, and Kib should be here shortly as well. And they obtain the crystal eye. So now they have to go backtrack to someplace that we've actually not seen in this run yet, Matoya's cave, and they will be giving her a crystal eye to give, or that way they can get the jolt tonic to wake up the prince. Kib actually doing a little bit more healing there. So typically around this point, typically around this point, we will be seeing them not heal the thief and the warrior too much. And the reason being is we need them to die later. There is a little bit of grind, and it is specifically for the mages. And we need them to hit level 18. Technically level 19 for a spell, but 18 is really the cutoff point. I have not seen Kib's HPs yet. Oh, okay. So Kib is actually in a good spot. We want a certain HP pool by the end of the game. And it looks like Kib actually has decent HP. So this fetch quest that we're going on it to get the Mystic Key. And we need the Mystic Key, that way we can actually leave this area. Because it unlocks a door that allows us to get nitro powder. And we can blow up an area. It sounds more destructive than it is. But Shin is getting more wolf encounters. These ones have goblins. But it also helps us get another piece of equipment that we need for the equipment glitch. Because as far as Knight's Armors go, they have good defense, but they kind of fail everywhere else. And the equipment that they're going to glitch actually gives them more agility and gives them some evasion. That way, for right now, they don't have to really worry about getting hit too much. But it also helps them run away from battles. So Shin is now in the Matoya Cutscene. Kib is getting ambushed by Buccaneers. And Shin has now obtained the Jolt Tonic. And I do believe, as far as these two go, like, their times are fairly even. As far as the group stage of the tournament, their averages are actually about 3 minutes apart, but they are both really good runners. Yes, I took all of the RNG for the night with Dissidia. Anyway, ooh, Shin missing his tile there for the boat. But this is one of the things about Final Fantasy 1. We have no RNG manipulation in this game, and the only manipulation that RNG has is what time it gives to players. And as we're seeing, Shin is actually having good RNG for right now, and Kib is having kind of terrible RNG. That is, what is the time difference between them? But now Kib has gotten the Jolt Tonic, and Shin is waking up the prince with the Jolt Tonic. And that will give him the Mystic Key. And here we're going to see Shin do a little bit of something that you probably wouldn't do playing it casually. He's going to leave the castle from the left side and re-enter it. And it's simply because it's faster than moving through the castle. Reason being is there's a treasure room that you need the Mystic Key for on the right side of the castle. And we need it for the Mithril Hammer, and we're going to change that Mithril Hammer into Thieves' Armlets, and we're going to put it on the helmet, armor, and gloves. Thieves' Armlet is a very good piece of equipment, because not only does it increase your accuracy, defense, and evasion, it increases your agility by 5. So placing it on everything, that gives us an extra 15 agility, and by this stage of the game, it's actually really nice, considering looking at Shin's screen, his characters are level 7. And that's kind of a huge increase. We're also seeing Shin grab his gold needles here. This is technically the last time that he can grab gold needles. There are 3 chances before leaving this area. There is one on the way to Marsh Cave, which is what Kib grabbed hers. There is one leaving Marsh Cave, or coming back from Astos, I should say. And then there is this one after waking up the elf prince. So from here, they will be, or Shin will be selling back to Cornelia. And the reason being is there are 2 chests, one of which Shin may grab. If he does, it's kind of an indicator of the route that he might be using. But we will see. The one main item is the nitro powder, and then the other one is the mithril knife. And the mithril knife we need for something a little bit later, and it is a safety measure. Shin may grab it on his way out, but we will see. Kib is actually doing her menu, and Shin actually had a really good menu. Shin is actually grabbing the mithril knife. Nice. Kib looks to be having a little bit of trouble with her menu here. But the mithril knife later on changes to the black robe, and it casts Blizzara. So it's kind of nice to have. And oh, he's using the okay. So Leo, since I know that you know both these runners a little bit better than I do, are they both using the same route? Because it kind of looks like they are. I know the Lust Dagger route is kind of the most popular one. And yeah, it looks to be a minute and a half, but Final Fantasy 1 has some troll RNG encounters, so legitimately anything can happen. The balance, who's in the lead, could be shifted at any time. Okay, so Shin is actually commentating in chat. He does actually use Kib's notes, and Kib is actually the one that had a hand in creating the Lust Dagger route. Yeah. Yeah, I was just explaining. RNG in this game could be completely weird. They will be doing the same preparation, but RNG is the complete factor. So let's see here. Is this a good game casually? It depends on what you're looking for in the game casually. I would say it's a good game casually. If you're looking for story, this game is kind of generic. I will be honest. It is the first Final Fantasy that's just been rebuilt for multiple systems. Story has not changed that much, but it is a good game. So we're seeing Kib in Mount Duergar, and she will be blowing up the area that Shin has just blown up, and that allows him access to the rest of the world with the boat. The boat is an interesting tool for movement. Newer Final Fantasies, you can pretty much dock the boat anywhere. In Final Fantasy 1, you can really only dock it at dock tiles. And later on, when they get the canoe, they can dock it at rivers, which we will be seeing used. And in terms of world map movement, you have walking speed. The boat is 2 times walking speed. And then later on, the airship is 4 times walking speed. So airship will be our method of choice later on. But here we see Shin actually grabbing steel gloves and Melman. And with the equipment glitch, he converted those IDs to make barbarian swords, and I do believe he only did it for his warrior and his thief. I was not actually paying attention to his screen because I was explaining. So that is my bad. I do believe because he is using Kib's route. But barbarian sword is really good. For those that play the older games, Excalibur was considered a top tier weapon, and the barbarian sword is about 2.5 to 3 times more powerful, simply because of stat boosts. So it'll be the main damage dealing item that we use. The mages can with the equipment glitch, but the reason we don't in this specific route is because the fact that it helps them later on. They will be equipped with the Lust Dagger, which gives them extra agility, and the extra agility is what they need. So it's a trade-off. Some of the older routes can use the barbarian sword via equipment glitch, but between these two runners, they won't be using that. So Shin has entered the Earth Cave, or as I like to call it, the Bat Cave. This place has a semi-high encounter rate. Basement 3 and Basement 4 are terrible. Yes, this run does actually use glitches. It is not glitchless. There is only one glitch, though, and that is the equipment glitch, which they will be using throughout this run. Shin actually able to run away from those cockatrices. Those are scary encounters, especially here. With an ambush, it could petrolock him, and that could have made him restart. But this place is the Bat Cave. As you can see, there are bat NPCs, and they do take up the same space, and they can block your way. But here we see Shin has made it through B3 pretty cleanly. And he is at the vampire. And I would talk about the vampire, but I'm not going to talk about the vampire because this is the power of the barbarian. So vampire's dead. So there are glitchless categories, yes. But here we see Shin grabbing the Star Ruby. And not that either of these two runners have done it, but Leo in chat is actually one of the few runners in this tournament that do this. On the boat, there is a mini game called 15 Puzzle. And if you get second place, there is a 1 in 6 chance of an item called Emergency Exit. And had either of them got that, that could have actually been a major point for this run. And had Kib got it, she could have caught up. Shin getting Pisco Demons here. And Pisco Demons, since they were considered a mini boss at one point, they are unrunnable. But other than that, it's they're going to use Judgment Staff and just move on. Kib is actually going to attack because there's 2, and Leo is hyped for Puzzle. But Emergency Exit, after you get the Star Ruby, it is actually really good to have, because instead of the walk back, you'd actually use Emergency Exit and end up outside of this dungeon, and that saves quite a bit of time depending on RNG. So Kib is now a vampire, and she will have the same exact go through that Shin did. Just attack it with Barbarian Sword and move on. And she will be grabbing the Star Ruby as well. And we need the Star Ruby because we're on our second fetch quest. It's a small one. But the Star Ruby we will feed to a giant, and he will allow us passage to the Sage Cavern. And we will talk to Sada and get the Earth Rod, which allows us access to the last 2 floors of this dungeon. And this is one of the few dungeons that we actually enter twice. Actually, the only dungeon that we enter twice. And ooh, Kib getting unfortunate Pisco Demons. Sorry about that lapse in chat there. So the difference between Chaos Shrine and Earth Cave is Chaos Shrine, you really don't enter it the first time. Like, yeah, you get to the entrance, but it's not the actual final dungeon. It's just a pass-through. Cavern of Earth, we actually have to enter twice. So, I mean, yeah, you could argue that point. I don't count it because it's technically a different Chaos Shrine. But yes, from your standpoint, you are right. So we see Shin here entering Sage Cave, and he will be talking to Sada to get the Earth Rod. And after that, he will be making his way back over to the Cavern of Earth. Kib is actually just now leaving the Cavern of Earth. And she will be making her way over to where Shin is. And she's actually getting pretty bad RNG. Shin is getting pretty good RNG, but that can switch at any point in time. And from here, they will be going, or Shin will be going back to the Earth Cave and going to the bottom of it to defeat Lich. But from here, we see Kib giving the Star Ruby to the giant, and realistically, like, the key items in this game are all one and done. We see the grabbing of them, we see them used once and never again. So Kib is grabbing the Earth Rod now. They high five somewhere on the world map or in the Earth Cave, and Shin is now re-entering the Cavern of Earth, and we'll be going to the basement, hoping to not get too bad encounters. But other than that, second verse, same as the first. Just trying to get to the bottom, get past where they were. And Kib actually running from that wolf encounter. Wolves have pretty high agility and can be a pain to run from at times. So, Shin is actually safety saving at the start of B3, which is a smart move in a race setting. Kib actually leaving Earth Cave after going back in. But B3 and B4 are kind of terrible places to be. But Shin looks to have a clean B3. And Kib looking to have a clean B2. So here we see the first and last use of the Earth Rod on Shin's side. And Kib opting the safety save as well. Pisco Demons still, we're going to be seeing them for a little bit longer. The next dungeon that they will go to also has Pisco Demons. And Kib almost getting blocked by the bats there. That would have been very unfortunate for her. But Shin looking to have a clean B4 as well. RNG has really favored him this run. And Shin saving her at Lich. Shin and Lich have a little bit of a history. Lich, while he only has 1,200 HP, he can sometimes go first and cast Blizzara, which wipes your party. Does going unarmored in the PSP version work at all because fighter evasion in the NES is a thing? No, it's not. Shin actually having pretty clean Lich there. We don't do it because Thieves' Armlets give us +5. Oh yeah, that's true. Because yeah, I was thinking from the armor standpoint as well. It gives us a +5 to agility as well as giving us evasion, and it also gives us really high defense. So yeah, you would be able to, but yeah, you would take full damage, and that is one of the good things about Equipment Glitch. Using the Thieves' Armlets, we really don't take a lot of damage. But as I said before, there is actually a glitchless category that we have. I don't know if we actually have a lot of runners for it. I know we do have some runners for it, but I am not one of them. So I cannot speak to that. Kib having a clean B5. She's actually catching up and making pretty good time on Shin here. But other than that, she will be making the same Lich fight, hopefully having the same luck as Shin here. And realistically, just 2 attacks with barbed swords, and it should go down. And a physical, that's still a lot better than Blizzara. But here we'll be seeing Shin sail south. Ooh, that is a very unfortunate ambush. So yeah, we definitely have a chance here for Kibetha to close the gap. Like I said, anything can happen. This run is... It does what it wants. It really does. Let's see here. Realistically, no, we don't use the Bane Sword. So here we see Shin making his way over to Crescent. And story-wise, after you beat Lich, you go to Crescent Island, and you're supposed to talk to Lucan, who has all of the prophecy that actually started your journey. We don't do that. We grab the canoe, and then instead of going to Mount Gold like they want us to, we go to Earth Cavern, or Ice Cavern. And simply because we want an airship. Levistone is pretty fast to grab. It is scary, but it is fast to grab. So here we see Shin grabbing the Mithril Axe and Mithril Gloves, I do believe. And the reason being is going to create the Black Robe because it casts Blizzara, and then replacing it with Black Garb because we just need the item. Black Garb is a bit better than Thieves' Armlets. Only one that we don't have a way to equip it on is the Warrior, I do believe. However, we will also be putting the Lust Dagger on both the White Mage and the Black Mage. And that gives them speed plus it's pretty high agility. So Kib doing her menu now, going pretty fast. She's actually saving quite a bit of time here. And one thing to notice, you will see them not be putting anything on the shield slots for now. The reason being is shield slots typically have an animation attached to them. And if you use something that doesn't have an animation or can't substitute the animation, it will lock your game. So they're avoiding putting things on the shield slot. There are some items that work on the shield slot, but we can't get them yet. So other than that, Kiv is actually pretty close to Shin now. But they will be making their way back to the ship and going north to the Ice Cavern. And they will be docking at a river, simply because they have the canoe. They can do that now, and making their way around. And the reason that they're doing this, we have two reasons. One is for the Levistone that we need for the airship, and the other is we kind of need levels. Not so much for the Warrior and the Thief right yet, but we need the mages to be at least level 19 by a certain point for some spells that we're going to have to grab. Because we're going to be switching off potions. They're inefficient. We don't really want them after a certain point. And it looks like they may be entering Ice Cave pretty close to each other. So here we see Shin making a safety save. I'm pretty sure Kibetha will be as well. So this place is a little bit trolly. There's a lot of stuff in here that can kill you pretty quickly, by the way. But despite them still being pretty low level, and what most people would consider not very far in the game, this is actually kind of the halfway point. The last half of this game will be going by pretty quickly. Ooh, Kib getting some very unfortunate cockatrice encounters. Yeah, these are actually some really good runners. Final Fantasy 1, it is a very fun game. And I'm not understanding what you're saying in chat, Frico. Are you wanting to do this run on NES or adapt NES strategies to PSP? Ooh, Dark Wizards. That is a bad encounter for an ambush. They do cast Fire Aga, typically, and that really just wipes the party. There's no magic resistance at this point. But we will be seeing Shen go back down to the Lava Stone, getting some very unfortunate Pisco Demon encounters. But this is one of the reasons why we grab so many items. On Kibetha's screen, we actually seen the use of the Mage's Staff, which casts Fear on him, and it just, oh. So this is a 1 in 64 encounter on Kibetha's screen, I do believe. It is a very trolly encounter. Yeah, you could adapt the NES run to this format, I do believe. You would have to mod stuff. So on Shen's screen, we seen him let his warrior and his thief die. And the reason being, Evil Eye gives some pretty decent experience. And we kind of don't want to do more work. So we kill off 2 of the party members to help level the mages. And Lost Dagger allows them to go faster than Evil Eye. It's just a really quick thing, but they will be moving back and forth on this force encounter tile to fight Evil Eye. And this part's actually kind of scary because you can get an off tile encounter. So you move off the Earth or Evil Eye tile and move on to another tile, and you can get in, and it could kill you. But we will be seeing Kib here actually wait until her thief dies before she actually kills it. No. We can't manipulate any encounters in this run. I wish we could, but we can't. It's very unfortunate. There is no RNG manipulation for PSP whatsoever. But here we'll be seeing them go up to level 18 and then an extra fight, and that'll give them more than enough experience for their spells that they grab. And because we only need like 3 of them. We need Haste, Healara, and Teleport. And that sets us up pretty much a little bit later in the game. And from what I can see on Shen's screen, he has kind of a bit of an anemic black mage. And here we'll be seeing the thief revive, because the thief and the black mage are the ones we're most worried about HP wise. They tend to have bad HP rolls, and we kind of want anything above 250-ish. 270 is a safe spot. They have to buy spells. Pretty much everything is the same as the original version, except for they have MP HP instead of spell slots. But yeah, you have to buy spells. So one thing to note here, yeah, you have to meet certain requirements. You'll be noticing that whenever the Pisco demons show up, they use Judgment Staff. Reason being, even though it is a longer animation, it does the most damage. So anytime that happens, Shin is actually losing time and giving Kibetha a pretty good chance to catch up. And the reason that we're leaving the warrior dead is because he really doesn't need the HP. He'll be just fine whenever we revive him later. But this is pretty much the biggest major troll point of the run. After this, it's just RNG from there. And we're hoping not to see too bad RNG. We kind of want things to go well. And from here, they will be making their way back to the boat, and they will be sailing south past the Crescent Lake dock. And that is to go to the Yukon Desert to pick up the airship. And the airship's nice. As I said before, it's 4 times faster than walking on the world map. However, it has a bit of an unfortunate quality to it. We can only park it on grass tiles. And for most of the places that we need to go, there's not really grass tiles around it. They're pretty far away. So while it saves time, there's no encounters, it's 4 times faster, we still have to walk. So it's a trade-off. But here we see Shin grabbing his airship and Kib pretty much right on his heels. Getting that unfortunate encounter, but being able to run away from it quickly. And she's pretty much in the same cutscene that Shin is leaving. So from here, we will be seeing them go to the Citadel of Trials. And they need that because we kind of need a class change. We have some spells that we need for people, and class changing is kind of needed. Shin opting to save. Reason being, an ambush encounter by a sandworm, it can cause, or it can use Earthquake, and Earthquake's kind of an instant death spell. So if it hits, it could wipe your party, and we have no protection against instant death at this point. And Kib actually getting the sandworm. But here, as somebody pointed out earlier, Kib was actually like about 1.5 minutes behind, and they're going to be entering Citadel Trials within maybe 15 seconds of each other. I guess not now. Commentator curse. But they're going to be talking to this guy, and then they will be moving through the Citadel of Trial. And here we are on the maze screen. And newer players, casual players, they tend to have a bit of an issue with this area. One simple trick, just take the south teleporter every time, and it will take you exactly where you need to go. Oh, and it looks like Shin getting a dragon zombie. So there we go. That is another 1 in 64 encounter. But so this tile that they both ended up on, it is a Forest Knight. No, I don't think we get enough experience in this run to actually level up a second time anywhere. My mic may be cutting out. I highly doubt it, though. It's mostly just me stopping, because I talk and then I stop. I do have a bit of a stutter at times, and my voice is unfortunately kind of shot. So I'm trying to protect my voice a little bit. But here we see them doing a dragon's. It is forced. Oh, okay. So they can actually level multiple times. That is nice to know. But here we see them making a trip back to their airship, and they will be going to the Dragon's Caves to talk to Bahamut and do their class change, which they needed the Rat's Tail for, and that's from the Citadel Trials. So unfortunately, we can't skip it. Some other runs skip it. I do believe other versions do skip it, but ooh, keep getting another sandworm. Sandworms are scary. So they'll be in this cutscene at the same time. So yeah, definitely Kib has made up some time. RNG has been kinder to now. This game does go in cycles, it seems. Like, you can get a bit of bad luck, and then some good luck, and then bad luck. And it's really just the way that this game wants to play. But here we will actually be seeing Shin put Lordly Robes on the shield slot. It is one of the few items that work on the shield slot. And the reason being is it increases intelligence. We will be seeing the White Mage used more for using the items instead of the Black Mage because of higher intelligence. And this is the part where routes can diverge. I highly doubt there will be too much of it. But in this spot, you could grab the Oxyale, the Fairy's Bottle, take it to Gaia, grab Oxyale, and then do shopping. Or you can grab Oxyale, not do shopping. You can do shopping and not grab Oxyale. You can do none of it. And then you end up at Mount Gold. Regardless of what they choose, they will always meet back up at Onrak. But it looks like so far they're doing the exact same thing. Makes it easier on me, at least. But we actually see Kib pull ahead here. And they will be buying Giant's Tonics. And Giant's Tonics are kind of special. Sorry about that. Ooh, getting an unrunnable there. But in the battle that they are used, they grant your party member that you use them on 200 HP, and it's temporary, but it increases your max HP by 200 for that battle. And we will be using that later on during the Chaos fight. We use the equipment glitch. The Knight's armors that we glitch early on in the game, we actually sell, and it gives us a lot of money. But realistically, we don't use money all that much. grab the Oxyale. They will be leaving Gaia, and looks like they will be heading straight to Mount Golg. So, no route divergence. So here you will notice that they're stepping on lava tiles as much as possible. While they take damage on these tiles, they don't get any encounters. So they will be stepping on those as much as possible, and then they should be healing up here soon. Simply because if they don't, they get an ambush. Hellhounds could actually wipe the party, and then their last save is Ice Cavern, unless they safety saved afterwards. So this will be around the time that they actually revive the warrior as well. Reason being is he's kind of powerful, nice to have, simply because main damage dealers at this point are the ninja and the knight. And this will be around the last time that you'll see potions used. But Shin is now entering the Merilith fight, and Kib will be right behind him. Merilith, kind of the same as Lich, just gonna kill it with physical attacks. Really don't have anything to worry about except for maybe a magic attack. But other than that, we'll see another unskippable cutscene, and they will be going to buy Haste in Elfheim, and that'll be the last time we see Elfheim, and then they'll be going back to Melman to buy Hilara and Teleport. And from there, they will be going to Onrak for the Sunken Shrine. But other than that, cutscene, shopping, and realistically, like, each runner has their own different thing. But these two runners are actually pretty neck and neck on everything they've been doing. Okay, sorry about that. Coughing fits are kind of bad, and I don't want to cough in anybody's ear. But yes, we will be seeing them grab spells. Unfortunately, I was not paying attention. I did not see if anybody grabbed haste on the ninja. But Forsyth actually stating something in chat that I've not talked about. Unrunnables, if they are preemptive, you can run from them, and that is something very nice to have. But here we see Kib entering on-rack, actually now ahead of Shin, because Shin unfortunately got lost on the world map. It happens, airship movement, and most of it's water, so there's really not a whole lot of landmarks for you to go by. But eventually finding his way, and pretty much anything can still happen. To be fair, in this race right now, Shin is actually the underdog. And we have actually put up predictions for the tournament. Kibetha getting the Prince and Chief encounter, and Gauntlets completely wrecked that encounter. Gauntlets cast Thundara, and it's quicker to use that than it is to use Judgment Staff. Hopefully we won't see too many uses of the Judgment Staff from here on out. But those of us in the tournament have made predictions. And they have been interesting. Roach in chat has said that he's on Team Kibetha. I am friends with both of these runners, but I do have my own hopes, which I will not be biased about. Shin getting a water encounter, or water elemental. Water elementals, if they're by themselves, you cannot run from them. If they're with a water naga, you can. Kibetha actually getting the Rosetta Stone. This floor that she's on, no encounters whatsoever. But teleport takes us back to the last floor. We don't even have to exit out. Just teleport 2 floors and go the other way. And we need the Rosetta Stone because we need it to enter a town later to get another item. Last fetch quest. But back to the water elementals. They're extremely weird to some people because you figure water, lightning damage would do more. No, they're weak to ice. They have no ground, so the electricity would just swirl around them, whereas ice would freeze it. Elementals are weird. I do believe out of all of the elementals, only the air elementals. So as we see on Kip's screen, because it is a water element, she can run a battle. Getting lost there for a second, thinking about where to go. So there are multiple of this item that Kib's about to pick up in this dungeon. Some of us actually pick it up on floor 4. It is a couple of tiles faster. However, floor 4 has more encounters. But the difference is the chest that Kib picked up her light axe at has 2 forced encounter tiles around it, so you have to pick it up on the right side. The one on floor 4 has no tiles around it whatsoever that are forced encounter, so you can just pick it up. You have it for a couple floors earlier, and it does increase agility, I do believe by 15 per for the survival vest. So kind of nice to have. However, they will be putting Lordly Robes on the White Mage as well. 2 Lordly Robes gives quite a bit of intelligence, increases the damage that the White Mage does with items. So we really won't be seeing too many more menus in this run. Kib is now actually on the final floor right before Kraken, and out of all of the bosses, Kraken is the easiest. By this point, we have quite a bit of defense, quite a bit of resistances to stuff, and Kraken really doesn't have that many attacks. He can use ink, which makes everybody blind, but we're still going to hit anyway, and he's going to go down pretty quickly. So realistically, not too big of a threat. And as you can see on Shin's screen, he is putting the survival vest on the Black Mage's shield slot. It is also another item that is able to be equipped on the shield slot. But Kib is now taking down Kraken. And right now she is actually in the lead. And like I said before, RNG just does what it wants in this game. Ooh, Shin opting to put Survival Vest on the Night Shield slot as well. So out of all of the items we can glitch, there are 3 that we use on the shield slot. Lordly Robes for White Mage, simply because it gives more intelligence. Survival Vest because they actually work. And then another one that they will be getting soon called the Ribbon. Yeah, I do believe there is some stat differences between the NES version of Kraken and the PSP version. Let's see here. Yeah, Kraken actually does have a higher attack stat in NES. He does, however, have lower HP. That is interesting to know. So here we see Kibetha making her way up to Waterfall Cavern, and Waterfall has highest encounter rates in the game. Next is Mirage Tower, I do believe. But shouldn't be too much of an issue, and the reason we're going here is for two items, the Ribbon and the Warp Cube, which the Warp Cube we need to enter the second to last dungeon. And the Ribbon is actually one of the few items for the equipment glitch that we actually want to equip. So we actually turn it into a weapon. That way we can equip it in a different slot other than the helmet slot. And typically we equip it on shields because it gives us resistance to elemental damage and immunity to instant death. And yeah, I do feel you, Shin. Sunken can be a troll. But here we see Shin making his way out of the Kraken fight now. And he shall now be seeing the cutscene that opens up. God, I can't even remember the GBA dungeon for it. We don't see that. This is the only time that we actually see GBA dungeons is in these cutscenes, and we don't ever see them in any percent. We don't need them. Life Spring Grotto. Okay. So we're seeing Kib enter the store, and the other side of the store is actually a force towel, and typically it always has Pyralisks and or cockatrices, and they are kind of scary still. No protection against petrification, no protection against instant death at that point, typically. But she also unfortunately picked up Wizard Staff, which may mess up her menuing a little bit. Yeah, NES version does have a lot less health, but at the same time, NES version really wasn't all that balanced. But yes, Kibetha is ahead. It depends on what you consider 100%. We do have an all bosses category and a full bestiary category, so it depends on what you consider 100%. To be fair, we really don't have a lot of people that run either category. Full bestiary only has one runner. So, I mean, I don't consider it a category, to be fair, until we get more people. And all bosses, we have about 6 people who's put times up. But that does every dungeon. There's really no way for us to do a 100% because, I mean, yeah, you can get one of every item, but there's no way to really catalog that. Yeah, full bestiary takes quite a while. I think the time that's been put up is like 11 hours. However, there is only one runner for that, and that time was from 2 years ago. So here we see Kib making her way over to Lufenia. Using the Rosetta Stone, she learned the language of Lufenia. And she'll be making her way over there to grab the chime. Yeah, 100% would be kind of terrible, to be honest. This trip over to Lufenia has a couple of bad encounters, mostly Minotaur zombies. We don't want to see them. It takes quite a bit of time. Bonus dungeons, yes and no. I briefly picked up all bosses, and they have random maps, which there are maps for them, but it's just one of those things that you don't really have what you'd have in a casual playthrough, per se. Like, you'd have the equipment and whatnot, but this game, it's RNG, typically trolls you. I got all the way up to Cognizzo, and Cognizzo decided to tsunami me 3 times and wiped my party. So, bonus dungeons, they do, but they don't. I don't think they have very many unrunnable. Average time seems to be about 4.5 hours for all bosses, though. Especially because you have to enter the bonus dungeons quite a couple of times. Shin now learning Lufane. Ooh, getting a Minotaur and troll encounter on Kibetha's screen. So, earlier I had talked about having to park pretty far away from everything when it comes to the airship. So, there is one tile here. Just one. I mean, there's probably more than one. But there's one tile here that is really nice before Mirage Tower. And it makes the trip to Mirage Tower pretty quick. And here we see Kibetha landing at it. Them high-fiving in the air there. But Shin will be making the trip that Kibetha just made. Ooh, and that Wonder Wolf ambush. Not very fun. And Kib actually getting a no encounter floor 1. That is pretty interesting. So earlier I talked about mini bosses, like the Pisco Demons being unrunnable because they do have the mini boss flag. Mirage Tower has the return of a mini boss. You might or may not remember, called the Vampire. However, vampires are runnable, as long as there are more than one of them. If there's only one of them in the encounter, they're actually unrunnable because it's a mini boss at that point. I'm actually not seeing any vampires and actually getting a really good Mirage Tower. Is it really? Kib actually fighting the blue dragon there. Yeah, any encounter on F1 is a bad omen. Blue dragons in Mirage Tower are for, however, they do appear on that one tile on the inside of that door. So here we see Shin entering Lufenia. NPCs trolling. Very unfortunate. Return of the Evil Eye on Kib's screen. They are still unrunnable. But Flying Fortress is an interesting area. There is a floor on the Flying Fortress that has a interesting mechanic, and anybody that's played with RPG Maker or something of the like, whenever you create a map, it gives you an option that you can actually have it loop. And the floor that Kib will be entering, floor 4, has that mechanic. It loops both vertically and horizontally. So anytime that you just continue to go left, you will always go back to the previous floor because you will meet that tile. The trick is to pick a direction, go 2 holes that direction, and then turn 90 degrees, and then go 2 more holes that other direction, and you will always end up at the tile for the next area, or for the next floor. Floor 5 is interesting. It has a 1 in 64 encounter, which she's gotten 2 encounters on already, and this floor has pretty low encounters. But it has a 1 in 64 encounter that we kind of like to see. Its name is Warmech. However, we have not seen it yet. Throughout the tournament, throughout the group stages, I do believe we've seen it like 3 times. But always want to see it. It is essentially, for anybody who watches Link to the Past, it is our validation chest. If you watch the randomizer that is also hosted by Speed Gaming. Oh hey, Shen is getting the vampires in an ambush, no less. So I want to take a moment to point out, Kib actually has really good HP rolls. Shen's Black Mage, unfortunately, still kind of anemic, only having grown like 6 HP since Ice Cave. That is one of the unfortunate things about this game. You could have one run where you have a good Black Mage where they have upwards of close to 300 HP, and then you can have a run where you have maybe 150. And it is scary. Yeah, Tiamat can kind of be a troll, but Tiamat goes down quickly. But other than that, cutscene, second to last forced one. There is one more cutscene going into Chaos Shrine, which Kib will be going to as soon as she leaves. Ooh, air elementals. Shen making his way up to Flying Fortress, and realistically, about a dungeon behind now for Shen. And as I said before, RNG can just completely switch at a moment's notice. So here we see Kib healing Banzai, who has been her hero Black Mage. Anybody who's watched her previous races, Banzai has always given her good HP rolls. But from here, heading over to the Chaos Shrine, and here we will be entering the final dungeon. Something to note about the GBA version in this one, because they do have extra dungeons. GBA version does not have this specific cutscene. This is PSP exclusive and 3DS technically, because it was based off of the PSP version. Casual runners, whenever they see that, they think that was the final dungeon. No, that's actually the bonus dungeon lab time, which we also don't see, but we use a lot of equipment from. Thunderbolt really wasn't effective. It just killed Kib's Black Mage, which is unfortunate, but eh. So go up to where Garland was, talk to the crystal, and it explodes and gives us access to the true final dungeon, Chaos Shrine 2000 years. Ooh, opening up with Purple Worm. It is too bad that Leo did not commentate with me. He loves his Purple Worm song. But easy kill. Purple Worm decided to try and give Kib a emergency exit there. One of the funny things about this game, you cannot leave this dungeon by normal means. The one that Kib's in. Ooh, green dragons. And the older versions of this game actually allowed you to skip a key item that you needed for this dungeon. So you could effectively get soft locked in this dungeon. Early in the game, we got a key item called the loot. Um, GBA and PSP actually stop you from leaving the castle after saving Princess Sarah. They actually turn your character around and make you grab. But here we see Kib actually playing loot now. Leo, purple warming the chat. But from here, the Chaos Shrine technically begins. There's quite a lot of unrunnables, and it's very unfortunate. Like this Ice Gigas and Winter Wolf encounter. Yeah, that is one of the major things. Haste is really good. A lot of people actually have asked, hey, why don't you use Temper? And Temper just increases your attack power. Haste doubles your hits, and especially with the equipment that we have, Haste is actually a lot better than Temper at this point. So Shen will be making his way over to Chaos Shrine. Chaos Shrine just not really giving good encounters right now. I do believe like 60% of the encounters in Chaos Shrine are unrunnable. So it's very unfortunate, but this will be where quite a lot of the level ups will be at this point. Yeah, it's fine. I don't play the NES version. I know a couple of key items. Rosetta Stone is Slab, Love Stone is Floater. Kibetha getting some unfortunate ice storms from White Dragons. But I know certain things from the NES. I don't watch it, unfortunately, and I really should. But I know a couple things from it. I don't know too much. More purple worms. And Shen is also safety saving at the start of Chaos Shrine. The reason being is there are certain bosses in here that they'll probably safety save before, but they can troll you. The powered up version of the Fiends, they do have some trollier attacks. Lich now has Flare. I do believe Marilith has something. Tiamat has, I do believe, a powered up version of Thunderbolt. It's weird. But Kib is making her way to the end of the Earth floor. And her HPs are actually in pretty good spot. But first encounter with Lich. Fun fact about this specific, or not even this specific version of this game, these encounters, they're force tile encounters. So you can actually step off of them and step back onto them and have to fight these bosses again. Ooh, that flare though. Killing the Black Range again. But we will be seeing Shen try to catch up here real quick. Having a bit of an unfortunate fight with these White Dragons. But Kib will be making her way down to the fire floor and fighting Marilith again. I don't believe there's any unrunnable fire floor. But White Dragons are very trolly. Yeah. Ooh, and this is why we safety save at the start of this dungeon. Ooh. That's a dumpster fire pretty quickly. Oh, and Shen saves. Holy crap. Kibetha making quick work of Marilith. Shen saved that. Holy. Okay. So that was very good work by Shen. GG. Kib is on the water floor now, and it's a very... Pretty much what we're saying is unrunnables from each of the... Kraken's going to lose pretty much as fast as he just did in Sunken Shrine. Yeah, it is still a huge time loss. It's very unfortunate. But with the encounters that Kib's getting, he might catch back up. We have seen it happen before. He could just get extremely good luck and catch up. But here we're seeing Shin play the lute, and Kib is making pretty quick work of Kraken, not opting to haste her ninja. Oh, more than a floor behind. Shin is now effectively 3 bosses. And that's kind of huge at this point. Kib healing up before the Tiamat fight, and we will be seeing more use of haste here. But here comes Scourge. Scourge is, I do believe, an instant death spell, but with the ribbons... Oh, wait, White Mage does not have a ribbon, neither does Black Mage at the moment. Okay, so... Yeah, it missed. Nice. So pretty much there's no chance for any extra HP at this point. B5, no encounters whatsoever. But yeah, maybe. But from here, Kib will be doing the final menu, putting ribbons on things, Barbarian Sword on the Black Mage, a ribbon on the Black Mage, and she put clothes back on the White Mage, and that was just to slow the White Mage down. You'll want the White Mage to go last pretty much every turn. Some of us actually do a different menu. Instead of putting clothes on, put ribbons on the clothes slot and then put more lordly robes on, simply because it's more intelligence, more healing. But here we see Shin pretty much at the end of the earth floor, going to fight Lich and making a safety save. Very smart move. Yeah, a 130, 131 maybe in the cards for Kib. So this fight is pretty interesting with Chaos, and the way it goes, Warrior will use Giant's Tonic on the person with the least amount of HP. Thief will generally attack. If your Thief has haste, typically we double haste. White Mage will always heal, and Black Mage will have haste on Ninja, Warrior, then himself. All the while, going down the list, it'll be attacks and then healing. So the reason we put the Barbed Sword back on the Black Mage is because the Black Mage will also be doing damage. Ooh, opting to haste the White Mage. That's interesting. Or it looks like opting to haste the White Mage. Oh, opting to haste the Ninja again. Double haste does not stack, contrary to popular belief. But I do believe speed drinks and haste stacks. I'm not entirely sure about that. Kib, what are you doing? Kib, please. So Kib is opting to do less damage for whatever reason. Typically the turn order haste Ninja first, then warrior, and then oh, did he? Okay, okay, good catch. I did not catch that. Thanks. So that makes more sense. But typically it's haste ninja, haste warrior, then haste black mage. So chaos casting slow on the ninja makes more sense to me. I did not see that. That is my bad. But for the most part, we're hoping for more physical attacks from chaos. But that is GG for Kibetha. That is a 131.31. SRL time of 131.33. Pretty solid fight. It wouldn't matter because they have ribbons on every character. They have no... There's no insta-death. Ribbons also act like the pro rings in the NES version. How much HP does Chaos have in this version? I should know it like off the top of my head, but I don't. And of course, when I go to look it up, it's 20k. Okay. So. Yeah, because he has like a 10th of the HP in NES. It's like 2,000. Maybe. Okay, so Kib is actually waiting until Shin is done for the interview. That way, I can interview them both at the same time. I guess to save myself some voice. So here we see Shin in the final menu. So here we see the barbed sword being put back on the Black Mage, and Shin is actually doing the Lordly Robe, Ribbon, Lordly Robe strat. So his health will, or his healing will be a little bit. And Kibetha is now in chat. You can field your questions for her there, or you can commentary. Yes, the Kib who didn't do tonicless. But here we see Shin in the final fight. The unfortunate need of tonics. Yeah, some of us like not losing races to stupid stuff, and some of us realize that we should just play Dissidia instead. So here we see Shin doing the same motions. Unfortunately, not having haste on the ninjas. Oh god. So getting haste up on both the warrior and the ninja. Hopefully I catch if Chaos uses slow on somebody this time, unlike what I did with Kibetha. I was confused for a minute there until chat pointed it out. But seem to have a pretty clean Chaos at the moment. Shin's ninja hitting for 2015 makes sense. So the joke here is Shin likes to make references to Banzai. We had a conversation in chat about banning Banzai because Banzai has good HP rolls. Unfortunately, Banzai, who is discount Banzai, does not like being named Banzai. And hey, GG to Shin. That is a 137.17 and an SRL 18. So we'll see if Shin wants to come in for an interview. I do know that he did say before this match he was tired. But GG to him. This is a really good race. Oh, Shin is in the call.
Hey, give me a second. I'm trying to fix my sound.
Okay. Kib, if you're actually watching the stream, just mute your stuff. Just mute it.
Hey.
You still sound a little bit far away, but we can deal with it.
How's that?
That's much better. How are you feeling, man?
Tired.
Yeah, I had just told chat that you were saying that you were before the start of the match. Kib should be in here shortly.
Yeah, a mixture of bad RNG toward the end and some really silly execution mistakes like getting lost and forgetting how to menu will do things to your run. I was actually a minute and a half ahead of my PB at Lich and ended up 6 minutes behind at the end.
Well, it's funny. And here's Kib as well. You were actually ahead of Kib for most of the race, and then RNG flipped.
About Ice Cavern, I made it.
Yeah. Like I was listening to the commentary. I had my phone out so I could listen to the commentary. And yeah, for it was around a Citadel. Ice and Citadel were back and forth some. Then I managed to get lost on the way to Sunken Shrine, and oh my god, that Sunken Shrine was just oh my god, it was bad.
Yeah,
was
Sunken
really nice.
Shrine. Sunken Shrine was where the lead changed. He was ahead of you in Mount Golg for a little bit, and then just some bad encounters let you beat Marilith before her.
Yeah.
Even though my Mount Golg was like hilarious.
I had 0 encounters Mount Golg, I think. So I had an awesome Mount Golg.
You did.
But
I
then
had 4 or 5 encounters. Something stupid.
So I knew I'd passed you at that point, and then I managed to get lost on the way to Onrak. I ended up over by Lufinia. Like, well, this isn't right. It's like, hey, that's Mirage Tower. So
I probably shouldn't be near that.
yeah, so I went and found Onrak, and then just, oh my god, I had every unrunnable I could find. I get a bunch of single water elementals.
Yes.
And it just kept getting worse and worse. And then I had like my favorite white dragon encounter ever. And
Oh my
Me
god,
too.
that white. No, kid, you don't
his
understand.
worst. His worst. Okay, right, cool.
I escaped
do
with a
tell.
warrior with 9 health, and that was it.
Yeah,
Woo!
he completed that encounter with a 9 health warrior. Almost.
That's impressive.
I was so happy for Shin. I was sitting here and I was just like, holy crap.
Honestly, I knew like pretty early on I needed to just reset my save points right there, but I was gonna do it. I'd lost the race already at that point. I was like, I'm gonna do it.
Had you had died there, I would have probably had chat press F to pay respect, but you pulled through. You pulled through. You just man-moded it. But other than that, how do you guys feel like your races went? I know this is your guys' third match. Obviously, still in the group stage, right, guys? But
Yeah. Right.
So
GG, by the way, Shin. I'm sorry I beat you again. I'm sorry.
Well, GG. Well, no, for a while I was like, hey, I'm gonna win. I got this. I'm like, I was pretty far ahead at one point, and then
I know. I was like, oh, I'm kind of happy for him at the same time as realizing I'm behind and really need to step up my game.
Okay, so Roach had posted in chat that he was on team. Because for those that don't know, we do actually have tournament predictions. I was on Team Shin. For those that don't know, the reason I was not on Team Kibetha, every time she
It's because he hates me.
every time she commentates my match, she curses me pretty badly. Though I can no longer say that. I can no longer say that, but I did want to see Shin pull through. And
well,
I did have Kibetha coming up from the loser bracket, but yeah.
I did not do predictions because I was in the first race. I didn't want to jump out with that, but I would have predicted Kib winning. That's Kib is my favorite for winning the tournament. So,
I mean, yeah.
I thought I was genuinely thinking, okay, this run isn't the worst run I've ever had. But then, like, I looked at my comparisons on Live Split, and it was like, you're like 3 minutes behind Shin. And I'm like, oh, okay then, okay. And then, yeah. That happened.
Yeah, I went from a solid PB pace to losing it by 6 minutes. So, yeah.
I mean, you guys could have my luck. Leo and I have joked about this. My runs are consistent. Anytime I race, 142. Does not matter what happens, 142. So that is my curse. I did not curse you guys. Like I tried not to curse you guys because I did want to see a close race, and I'm not mad. Like, I got a close race. Not as close as some of them.
I would have been perfectly happy if Shin won because I feel like Shin should win. I'm on Team Shin. Unfortunately, I just beat him. I'm not very good at being on Team Shin, am I?
Well, yeah. Well, this was it was a lot of fun. I am really tired.
Yes, I was actually going to
ask. The time change was not good on me. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend that we go ahead and give the channel back to the good folks over at Speed Gaming.
Yeah, because I was going to ask.
Get Shin back to his bed.
Do you have any shout-outs, Shin?
Yeah, well, I want to shout out to everyone watching, of course, Speed Gaming, all usual stuff. I want to thank Kiv for mercilessly defeating me a third time.
Sorry.
It's okay. I still feel like this has been my favorite group I've ever run in. Well, not in group stage anymore, but you know, you were still in. You're a group buddy, and this has been a whole lot of fun. And I'm not out of the tournament yet, so I'll keep going, and I'm sure I'll give you another chance to beat me if I do really well.
See you again in the finals.
Right. And, Chris, thanks for the commentary, as always.
Thank you, Chris.
Not a problem. Kib, do you have any shout-out?
Just shout-outs to Mutsky, who was in my chat cheering me on, even though I couldn't see. Thank you, Muts. Muts, apparently that's your name now. Okay, yeah, and everyone, as usual, for arranging this whole shebang.
Okay, because I have some shout-outs of my own. I would like to thank Feasel and Speed Gaming for always hosting us. They're great to work with. Kib and Shin for running. Chat actually knows this, but I kind of have a sore throat, whatnot, and I still decided to come out and commentate. It progressively got worse.
Thank you, Chris.
Shout outs to your throat.
I would rather not. That would hurt.
Shout out to laryngitis.
Right. But definitely shout out to everybody that came out. I know for Kib, it's actually pretty late where she is. But
It's normal.
other than that, I do believe next on this channel, if you guys stick around, is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Speed Gaming 3 has Super Mario Sunshine coming up, and Speed Gaming 1 has Zelda 1 Randomizer. So definitely give them a watch if you want to. Give the Speed Gaming channels a follow, subscribe if you want. Definitely the money does go towards everything that helps out here.
For anyone who doesn't know, if you have Amazon Prime, you can get a free Twitch Prime subscription to any channel of your choice. They get the money, you get the emotes. You don't have to spend any more money.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Because, I mean, I know if you even look below, like, there's a ton of stuff Speed Gaming's doing. Shovel Knight Tournament, Diddy Kong Racing, Cuphead, Metroid Fusion, Super Metroid multi-category tournament, so on and so forth. So definitely just give them a follow, check out their stuff, support them. Definitely great people. But I do believe that is it for us. Thank you for watching. This has been Total Chaos 3, round 1.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. And yeah, everyone, thanks for watching. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Have a good one.